So before I get into the wild saga of the Whitefish Marathon, let me give you a little backstory. Now, you can skip ahead if you want, but trust me, this part kind of matters. It all started when I began grad school and I had this awkward 3-hour gap between when work ended and classes began. And so I tried the gym, but apparently so did everyone else on campus. All the machines were taken, all the weights were taken, and it was basically standing room only. So instead of fighting for a treadmill, I decided I was just going to run laps around campus like a rogue hamster. One day I was talking to my coworker about it, and she asked if I'd ever run Cowtown. Now, naturally, I had no clue what that was. It sounded like some sort of weird Texas rodeo event. I don't know. Turns out it's the largest multi-event in Texas with tens of thousands of runners. And she casually mentioned she was signing up for the half marathon. It's something she hadn't done in 15 years, mind you. And then she dropped this little gem. I don't think you could handle it. This woman knows I've been running for years. I played soccer in college. I run 15 to 20 miles a week for fun. But yes, let's pretend I need to stick to the kiddie pool of 5K and 10K races. Challenge accepted. Now, if there's one thing you should know about me, the moment you tell me I can't do something, it immediately becomes my life's mission. So naturally, I cranked up the training. I followed the Cowtown plan to the letter, and boom, I ran that half marathon. You know who didn't? My coworker. She claimed she injured herself days before the race. Now, I'm sure it had nothing to do with her complete lack of training. That wasn't it at all. It was her injury. That's why she didn't run it. So here's where the problem started. The half marathon is a gateway drug to the full marathon. I had to go all in. Next stop, Whitefish, Montana. Seriously, if you haven't seen their promo video, you should go watch it. They could convince a cat to run 26 miles. Now let me just take a moment to point out that my husband is a saint. You'll see what I mean as the story unfolds. So I told him I wanted to run the Whitefish, Montana Marathon, and I showed him that magical promo video, and he said, yeah, I'll run it too. So we embarked on this 5-month training odyssey together. We ran in blistering heat, we ran in freezing cold, and we collected some truly horrifying calluses along the way. My husband, bless his non-runner heart, lost toenails, plural. Because, fun side effects of marathon training. Since he didn't have the running base, he struggled to hit the mileage, and eventually he got injured. So we had to drop down to the half marathon, which meant that I would be flying solo for the second half of the race. Now, I would like to say that I was very humble about this, but that would be a lie. I was cocky, like really, really cocky. Like I could run a half marathon in my sleep at this point, and in my head I'm thinking, I'm gonna crush this marathon. Well, apparently God decided my attitude needed just a little adjustment. And now that you know how I got here, let's talk about Whitefish. We hopped on a very tiny plane that took us straight from DFW to Whitefish. Sign of impending doom number 1. We couldn't even find the rental car. Not the best start.
Nope. Just silence. Look for a trunk to pop. Huh?
Sign of impending doom number 2. The sky was orange. Like, I don't know about you, but unless you're on Mars or in a sci-fi movie, that's probably not a good thing, right? But we brushed it off because the hotel was cute and it seemed like the perfect spot to collapse after running 26.2 miles. So it is now Friday. We flew in yesterday on Thursday. The race day is tomorrow. And we got an email last night that said that there may be a chance they cancel it. We landed in Montana, and there is horrible fire, air, smoke, mess, and it's causing some air pollution. And so they might cancel the race. So we have that to stress out about, but we're gonna go for a shakeout run this morning. We're gonna try and get in 3 miles, see if we can breathe even in the nasty air pollution. Probably not a good idea, but we're gonna do it anyway because we're full of bad decisions.
Oh, the best part though is, where's the smoke coming from?
Canada.
Just blame Canada.
Blame Canada. Ah, yeah. In Montana, they held their fires okay, but Canada's weird and on fire right now, so it's gonna be a great day.
Yeah.
Sign of impending doom number 3. That really cute deer that we spotted was also horrifyingly mangy, like possibly rabid. Really hard to say. Sign of impending doom number 4. The course included a ridiculously busy street, and I'm not talking like a peaceful walk through nature street. Like Frogger, but on foot. So they are not shutting down the road tomorrow for the marathon. Apparently just run on the road. And it's kind of a busy road. So this is gonna be so awesome. It's gonna be really great. Still, we drove around town with the eternal optimism of 2 people who hadn't run a marathon, praying that if we stared at the sky long enough, the orange would magically turn blue. Spoiler alert, it did not. The next morning, we lathered up in squirrel's nut butter because if there's anything you don't want while running a marathon, it's chafing in weird places. We threw on our lucky socks, we pinned on our race bibs, and we steeled ourselves for battle. It was go time. What I didn't expect was heat. Lots of it, like blazing sun coming after you heat. I had unwittingly picked the year that global warming hit peak performance mode. Perfect, like totally what you want for your very first marathon.
Wow, man, this is a lot of runners. The line keeps coming and coming and coming. All the heads way back there bobbing up and down.
First key step.
3 miles in, not looking good.
Look at those mountains. Oh my gosh, it does. Almost halfway, babe.
I'm gonna start crying.
You got this.
That was the moment I knew I wasn't gonna finish. My hair tie had snapped. It was just so hot and sweat was dripping down my neck. I was miserable. I hadn't mixed my goo and my electrolytes right, and I got really, really sick by mile 9. And to top it off, I realized I was gonna have to run the next 13 miles by myself. There was little to no shade on the second half of the course, and when Chris took off to the finish line, I just started crying.
Here we go. Maybe just walked away, finished off that full, and I'm trying up here to finish it.
Congratulations to Rebecca Lee, Sandra Steiner, JD King, Emily and Caitlin Aldridge, Brett Mulford, Amy Delaney, and Christopher Henderson. All finishing the half marathon. Victor, the leader in the full marathon.
Leader of full marathon is 2 minutes away from me finishing my half.
But Chris being Chris, he went back to the hotel, he grabbed me my hair tie, he grabbed some candy, and then he drove all the way to mile 16 to drop it off. And he said, I'll see you at mile 18 because I'm gonna check in on you. By the time he got there, he pulled up the GoPro to film me, but then he saw the state I was in and how I couldn't stop crying and I was barely holding it together. And he knew right away I wasn't gonna finish on my own. And so he'd already hit record, and then he put the camera back in his pocket without thinking, and it kept recording. And this was our conversation at mile 18.
How you doing?
It's like I feel like I've been walking forever, and it's just I'm not like getting anywhere. I never want to do this again.
There's a lot of people walking.
It's so hot.
Yeah. Will you believe it that on the phone right now it says it's 72?
It's just so sunny, and like it's just solid sun. There's no shade.
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating because I'm like, I've run further than this without thinking that.
Yeah.
All that noise at the end, it was because he said, let's go. And he just started running with me. He was still hurting from his injury. He already finished his half marathon. He was completely wiped out, but he still walked / ran the last 7 miles with me because he knew how much it meant to me. I had to do the last mile alone because of the way the course was set up, but somehow I found this burst of energy and pushed through. I finished in just over 6 hours, but there's no way I could have made it without him. Out of 126 finishers, I finished 118th, but I finished. We celebrated with pizza, but I couldn't stop crying. You know, there are those moments in life that hit you so deeply that all you can do is reflect on how incredibly lucky that you are. And that was one of those moments for me. And I realized how incredibly fortunate I am to have found and married such a truly, truly great person. He slept the whole flight home, and I can't imagine how sore he must have been. All for a half marathon medal. I should really petition for him to get a 3/4 marathon medal. I love you, hun.
Okay, so Chris is judging my pill regimen. Okay, 3 pills for fiber, 1 for probiotic, 1 for daily vitamin, 1 for deep blue for muscles, 1 for sun damage, 2 for ibuprofen, and 1 for sleeping pill. What is so difficult about that?
Coming in the morning.